everyone, and welcome to our group's presentation for Intro to Analytics. My name is Ahmed, and I'm going to be taking you through the introduction. So, our team consists of Eduardo, myself, Aditya, Avani, and Nishika. Eduardo is the data architect. He'll be taking care of the data preparation and the diagram illustration. He's going to explain that to you. I'm the business analyst, so I'm going to take over the introduction. I'm going to go over the analytical questions. Then I'm going to go over the project and scope. Aditya is a data scientist, and he is responsible of the systems of record and the data flow. And Avani is our data analyst. She will go over the main data entries and the systems of record, while Nishika is the data engineer. She will go over our lessons learned and our ethics issues and dilemmas. So, for our introduction, our chosen industry is the broadcast entertainment media industry, and our organization is called the Humber Streaming Services. This industry has competition such as Amazon, Netflix, Apple, who all have their own streaming platforms, and they all provide strong competition to our present platform. And our business problem currently, our users have low engagement on our platform. They don't have as much viewing time as the competition. And what we want to do is we want to increase this engagement to match our competition, so we better compete with them.
With the business requirements, we have selected some entities that are going to be useful for our project solution. First one is content, which has many attributes such as film ID, genre ID, content type, the duration, classification, and the producers. Moving on, you can see all the distributions of our entities. About the system of records, we have about 5 system of records. First, customer system of records with customer demands, existing customers, the target market, the type of target, and the customer package. Second is the entertainment system of record with contents having all the movies, TV shows that we are going to offer to customers, the opportunities that we are trying to address with the content, and the genre. Third is for technical and device system of record. We are going to have the information about the possible opportunities, about the expansion, and also devices and techniques that the customer are using, which is important for making future decisions about the streaming opportunities. The fourth one is the supplier system of records with all the suppliers, the content that they are provided to us, and the opportunities dealing to address with this content and the genre. Finally, the project system of record, which is the project management, where we are going to have information about all the initiatives and goals that we are planning to achieve with the project, and also to know in which place the project are and which are the solutions that they are going to provide to us. Thus, this system of record is important in decision making.
So, as for our questions, we have identified several questions into 3 different categories: descriptive, diagnostic, and predictive. And descriptive questions, we have 2 questions which will help us identify what is the most popular genre of media currently in the consumer market. And the next question will help us understand what is the most popular devices. So these descriptive questions will allow us to understand the current genre that is popular with our consumers and what device they are favoring to use this on. Next step is the diagnostic questions. We want to understand the relationship between the demographics and the genres and the regions. And furthermore, we want to understand the main causes of errors that happen on our platform. So, by understanding the demographics, the genres, and the regional changes, we are better able to tailor our programs and our pricing plans to different regions. This will help us create better value for our consumers and increase engagement on our platform. The next part of this question is the errors that face our consumers. What this will do is basically increase the quality of life of our consumers. By understanding the errors, we are again able to create extra value for our consumers, and this will in turn increase the engagement on our platform. So, for the predictive questions, what we want to know is how to increase our subscriber count by next year, and we also want to know what mix is better for each region. And we also want to know how to improve our recommendation system. These three questions will rely on several different factors from our data, which will help us, again, increase the value for our consumers, and which will also help us to better plan our available shows and content for each region.
Well, in order to provide a high quality data, in the data preparation and data wrangling stages, we have decided to perform different activities. Between these activities, the first one is the data enrichment. We are planning to create additional value using the data that we are going to have from different sources. In this case, we are showing you a great example of this. We are using all the information about the minutes that each customer has uh, used for seeing different type of genres, and according to the age we are going to be able to create a distribution about the amount of minutes that each age group provide to different type of genres. About the second activity, and this is one of the most important in order to obtain the high level quality data, is the data cleansing activity. In this activity, we are planning to reduce the redundancy and avoid any anomalies and look for new values. As is it simplified in the right hand, you have the name Anna Clark with a more than one space between the first name and the last name. So we are going to fix all the spaces. On the second example, uh, many users can have a problem introducing a character that is not expected from for each field. So in this case, we are correcting all these characters. In the same way, we are going to perform data restructuration activities in order to improve the efficiency and storage usage of the enterprise data warehouse, uh, decreasing the amount of processing time for each task. As an example, we are going to use this kind of activities in order to measure the success of any initiative tailored for the users of the company, in order to measure how successful in terms of new subscriber the strategy was. Deleting after that calculation all these fields and only having one field, which is going to be the new subscribers number. On the data profiling activity, which is the last activity, we are going to evaluate and examine the data content, especially for looking and having the right content and a good quality of data. As it's exemplified below, we can have the same different IDs, different first name, but last names and mails with similar or almost the same. So in this case, we are going to proceed to eliminate duplicates in order to provide trustful information for the decision-making processes.
We have 5 system of records as shown on the slide, which are the customer system of records, supplier system of records, tech and device, project management, and the entertainment system of records. As we can see from this entity relationship diagram, that uh, the attributes from many of the system of records are being used by other systems. So for example, if we consider the customer system of records, the attributes that this particular system of records has have been used by other system of records like the tech and device system of records. um, the attributes which this particular system uses are the operating system used by a customer, the device that is being used to access our platform, and the watch time for a particular customer for any particular genre. So these are a few examples of the data that is being used.
So here is the detailed view of our work breakdown structure. We have identified each phase and we have created tasks associated to each phase. Each phase will also have different staff assigned to them. In the project initiation phase, this phase will be assigned to the project manager and the business expert mostly. The requirements here are mainly around getting the project approved, understanding the requirements, and creating the charter. Once that's done and the project is initiated, we can move on to the project planning. This is when we establish the team and we collect the requirements for the data. And here is when we will bring in the data analyst to go over the data requirements plan and to help us finalize the requirements. So we then move on to the project execution, the longest phase in the project. Here is where we'll bring in the data engineer and the data analyst and the data scientist. And this is where they'll be doing their work. We're going to be gathering the information, we're going to be designing the data warehouse, but most importantly, we'll be wrangling and preparing the data as per the requirements of the business. When this phase is completed and we integrated the data into the system, we'll move on to the monitoring phase. And this phase will have basically everyone involved, and we will monitor the project and the data involved. And if there are any changes necessary, we'll take that to the change board and apply the changes to the project. So in terms of the project scope, it's important to understand what is in scope and out of scope in order for the team to understand what is part of their responsibility and what is not part of the team's responsibility. So first off, the creation of the systems of record and the enterprise data warehouse are the two first steps that we need to deliver on this project. Once that is completed, we can move on and deliver the creation of the data marts and the outlining system of the specifications. And then once we have finished these major steps of the data warehouse, we can move on with creating the insights programs, which basically are the ad hoc reporting and the reporting measures, which help the team in the decision-making process. And once the project has been completed, the other step is to creation of the best practices and the lessons learned document, which will be distributed to the rest of the team.
Well, thinking about the data architecture, we have decided to have a hub and spoke diagram, especially because it is the best practice nowadays for companies. On the left hand, you can see our system of record that will provide us then the information for a single enterprise data warehouse. With this enterprise data warehouse, we are going to select different information and send it to different data marts. The first one is the customer information data mart that will contain all the necessary information of our customers. On the suppliers data mart, we are going to have the most updated information about the content that is broadcasting right now in the company, and also the upcoming projects that are going to be planned with all of the suppliers. Finally, we are going to have a broadcast media data mart that will contain all the necessary information about the watch times, the popular genres, and also the all necessary information for build predictions based on the information about the performance on the platform. So with these three data marts, we are going to build a different solution. The first one is the reports. These are going to have all the necessary information to answer the descriptive question that we asked before. On the first report, you are going to have the current trending broadcast content type. Especially with this, we are going to have all the information about movies, TV shows, documentaries, and animated series. And in the second report, we are going to have all the list of the future projects, the progress that is measured based on the feedback that we have from our suppliers, and also the errors or the stages of each project. On the second hand, we are going to have the ad hoc reports. In this case, we focus our attention on having all the necessary information for the users to build personalized reports. In this case, We are planning to have all the necessary information for the users to combine all the data from multiple sources and to create different and tailored reports to have new insights about what is happening and why it happens. Finally, and this is the most important contribution of our project, we are going to have a predictive analytics. So as you remember, the main question is about what is going to be the best content mix in order to evaluate performance and efficiency. And also, the most important is what are the common trends that are going to produce the best return of investment in this case, so the company can take decisions based on the current trends that are going to be provided through this predictive analytics. And finally, we are going to create a predictive algorithm in order for our users to have a recommendation system that will provide suggestions about the contents that will closely fit all the all the customer tastes. So this is all about of the data architecture that we have built.
Differential privacy. We will be adding random data in our dataset to create additional barriers to people attempting to mathematically reverse the data. Anonymization. All individuals will be anonymized in our data to reduce the impact of a data breach. Data minimization. The data collected will be limited to only what we require to solve our business problems, and all other data will be permanently deleted from our systems. With these steps that I previously mentioned implemented, we can further enhance our protection by adding a layer of encryption on our data and limiting access to a per user basis with monitoring measures. The measures that I mentioned will have to be implemented to all the data gathered. However, the most sensitive data will be in our customer system of records. The system of record will hold most personal information. The first step to maintain compliance is to follow the Canadian Association of Information Technology four imperatives: the protection of public interest, avoidance of conflict of interest, acting and contributing to the IT profession. We learned while working collaboratively on this project are creating a cohesive team is important in detailed tasks involved in data. If the team underperforms, it can add pressure on to the rest of the team. This will be faced by any team in any project due to the nature of group conflicts. Mapping out a business insights network diagram is an important step that allows an organization to visualize the components of their data network. Any organization that plans on succeeding efficiently will be conducted in this step. It is important to understand the language involved in this field. Communicating your message clearly will be important in a project, especially if your area communicating instructions to the team. Understanding the business problems is one of the most vital steps with our understanding of the organization and the problem. This will lead to possible errors and inefficiency in execution. One of the challenges is understanding what we can do with the data or what we can derive from the data. This can be faced in any organization during the planning phase of a project. This can be aggravated if the team does not understand the organization or problem being addressed. Scheduling the project phases and team steps are both important for successfully timely completion of a project. Reminders must be sent to the project team to stay on top of them and make sure the work is completed on time. Data preparation can be the most vital task in a team and can undertake during the start of a project. In a real organization, we must apply the project requirements to our work. In terms of data presentation, this requirement will govern the vital aspects of the preparation.